Welcome to WagerTalk.com. Today's Baylor-Oklahoma State game is brought to you by The Gold Sheet, the nation's longest-running sports betting publication. I'm Marco D'Angelo, joined in studio today, Brian Leonard and Tony Finn. We're going to break down this game, big game in the Big 12. Brian, I'm going to start with you. Baylor, Matt Rhule's done a great job there. He's created Temple 2.0. They're playing defense there at Baylor, something you don't see in the Big 12 too often. Undefeated. Is this the week that they get knocked off, or do they stay undefeated?
Here's my way of handicapping the Big 12. Don't bet against Oklahoma, and whoever looks good the week before, bet against them, because from number 2 through 8 or whatever, it's been the same all week long or all season long. When somebody looks good, Texas 1 week and Iowa State 1 week, you go against them. They're all pretty equal, and I'm somewhat intrigued by the line here. Baylor's played, the 6 games, 6-0. 4 of the last 5 Baylor games have been decided by 1 score. So they've been right in these real intense games all along. You got an Oklahoma State team who's played a 6-point tougher schedule by my numbers, and they're coming off of a bye. And they went into the bye as one of those teams that were playing really hot football, and they got beat. I like the home team here. It's sitting at 3.5. I'm really surprised it hasn't moved all week long. And a lot of other people that I respect are looking at the same side here as Oklahoma State. Obviously, there's some money on Baylor here. Maybe it's a public information out there on Baylor. They like that 6-0 team to keep going. I like the Baylor team, no doubt about it. But I think coming off of the real tight games they've had, Oklahoma State was something to prove here. I think 3.5 is a cheap number.
Tony, I'll go to you on this one. Ironically, these two teams both played the same team in their last game. Texas Tech. Baylor played them last week, the overtime game. 2 weeks ago, Oklahoma State played them. And a lot of the, I want to call the recreational players, John Q. Public, they look at things like that and they say, well, if Baylor beat Texas Tech and Texas Tech beat Oklahoma State.
B equals C.
Yeah, it's, that doesn't, if you use that form of handicapping, you're losing money over the years. Tony, how do you see this one?
Yeah, if you are, as the public does, if you're only as good as last week, then in this case you would probably like Baylor, but I don't. This is a really tough situation for Baylor. Off a bye. I mean, Oklahoma State's off the bye. It's homecoming. It's at Pickens. This is a clash of styles as well. Baylor's slow, deliberate, focus on defense. Gundy is he wants to, while he runs the football, they want to play at pace. Really, the team that wins this game dictates pace. Who's going to dictate pace? Who has the advantages of dictating pace? I think the home team on homecoming, at Pickens, off a bye. Oklahoma State wins and covers. I
do want to point out, and mention Boone Pickens. Didn't he just pass away a couple months ago? This is the first homecoming game without the big donor there, so maybe there'll be some emotional edge there for us.
Yeah, I'll throw one out there. I thought maybe one or two of you would mention. An angle I like to look at, you've got a ranked team versus an unranked team.
Good point.
And the unranked team's the favorite. I've always said, if I'm going to follow guys that do this making rankings or guys that do this making numbers, I'm going to follow the guys that make the numbers. And Vegas is telling you who the better team is here. They're telling you that it's Oklahoma State. They're saying they're basically, what the numbers saying is they're telling you Baylor and Oklahoma State's the same, and yet the one team's ranked 18th.
I know Ralph Michaels has put out this thing where if a team makes it up into the top 25, the next week they're doing terrible. And I've used that for years because you have a team celebrating. We finally made it. It's your, you've talked about that before, your show me game or whatever.
Statement game.
Game. And then the team comes out the next week and they're just not ready to play.
And an angle that we use, just to flip for a second before we pull it out, storm the floor in basketball teams after a game like that, where you have a team to do all those kind of situations. Those are ones you want to mark down and take a look at going against. Hey guys, get the nation's longest running sports betting publication, The Gold Sheet, for just $9. You'll receive detailed analysis, write-ups, stats, and more on every college and pro game this week. You can download it now at WagerTalk.com or SportsMemo.com. We'll be back with more here at WagerTalk.com.